Imagine a city that feels like home, a place where everyone belongs, where every resident feels connected, and opportunity is within reach. As Atlanta shapes its future, the choices we make about housing, healthcare, education, and public spaces will define how we live, work, and connect. Atlanta-based journalists Grace Donnelly and GHD explore bold ideas and real solutions to help Atlanta thrive, diving into how social infrastructure can unlock equity, inclusion, and a true sense of home now and for generations to come.
I'm excited to speak with Garrett and Steven today about social infrastructure in Atlanta and belonging in the city as it moves towards 2050 as part of our My City 2050 series. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell me a little bit about how Atlanta can grow, experience this extreme growth, and still make the city a place where everyone feels like they belong.
I think one of the unique challenges that you have just with increased growth and interest in many cities is the strain that it can put on affordable housing. And there are many different approaches, but it's still important to keep affordable housing.
Yeah, I think Atlanta has to be innovative. I know that there's projects being discussed like to create affordable housing and create other communities in town. So you think about the accessibility of land. That's a creative solution to build, on top of the highway.
It's still really important to preserve the history and the legacy from being the hub of transportation and rail to civil rights to now leaning into being the center of entertainment and industry and education. It's really important to continue to take advantage of the unique history of Atlanta and the diversity of Atlanta.
So as the city grows, what are some ways that Atlanta can tackle affordability issues while still being a leader in housing innovation?
As we grow and as we lean into adding amenities and adding infrastructure, and one of the things that we're doing to just keep that in our minds is, as a company, we're looking at identifying places for example, a new office. When companies like ours look for office locations, it's important for us to consider, is there access to affordable housing in the communities where we're going to work?
The thing that is a concern is as we sprawl and as we go out to afford more for our money, those communities can become disconnected from town, right? You may be connected in your local community, but are you really connected to the city? So making sure that affordable housing is in the city or connected to the city through mobility or proximity.
We all know commuting in Atlanta can be a challenge, and you don't necessarily want access to affordable housing to also put a strain on your work-life balance as you try to support your family.
So what are some ways that the city's design choices can help support an aging population as well as residents of all different kinds of abilities?
A couple of things I thought are very innovative now, and I think we need more of this in the future. Fulton County has free rideshare if you're over 60 years old. Thinking about a large population that is aging and providing housing or needs such as assisted living and even memory care, but also accessibility. They still want to go to the store. They still want to be in the community. And how do you provide for that?
So how can Atlanta align education and workforce development in ways that really encourage inclusive economic growth as the city heads towards 2050?
Yeah, I think there's some really good ideas that are already being implemented right now. I mean, I know through my 3 children, it's very difficult to get into college. If you're going out of state, it's very expensive to go to college. And are there other pathways for our high schoolers than just college? Gwinnett County started a nonprofit organization called the Water Tower to provide education to middle schoolers and high schoolers about the water industry and to give them real experience at the water plant or the pump station so that they can take jobs in Gwinnett County. So it's very innovative. There's not many people in the country doing that.
I think Atlanta is in a very unique space in higher education with Georgia Tech, Georgia State, the AUC. There's so much higher education here. And as companies can continue to see the value in Atlanta and come here to grow, it's important for all of us to invest in workforce development across multiple sectors, whether it's investing in STEM education and programs in communities to help build pipeline, or it's working with community groups who are focused on developing workforce for trades and other areas to really provide opportunities for all sectors, all people within the city.
As we think about our partnership with clients here in Atlanta, that we want to be invested in the communities that we live in, and we want to leave a lasting community benefit. So one of the ways we've done that is we've partnered with the King Center. The King Center is very passionate about this, back to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision, and he talked about this quite a bit, beloved communities. So we've done that by sponsoring and bringing in speakers, Dr. King, Bernice King, and just amazing speakers about loving our neighbor, serving the community that we live in, and thinking about how we can voice our opinions in a peaceful way.
What are some things that would need to happen to bring that beloved community vision to life in Atlanta?
Yeah, I think investments is a key part of that, right? We can't rely on our government to do all of it. I think when we think of that live, work, and play idea, technology hubs, parks, areas where people can congregate and have that cohesion and that connectedness. The Beltline is a great example of connecting communities together and giving access to more areas to play and to work. I think that's key for Atlanta's future.
Ensuring that there continue to be walkable communities where people have access to all of the valuable amenities that the city has to offer within their community, so that they're not strained to commute to different parts of the city that in many cases people just don't have adequate access today to transportation and transit options.
I think about Atlanta and the connection to the entire state. So we have the world's busiest airport, the fastest growing seaport in Savannah and in Brunswick. Those create a lot of revenue, create a lot of transport and connectivity of goods and people.
Supporting the infrastructure solutions that the city needs to really last into 2050 and beyond.
Well, Garrett, thank you so much for speaking with me today about the future of Atlanta for the My City 2050 series.
Thanks for having me.